On today's show, meet one of Minnesota's bassin boys. He's in the major leagues of tournament bass fishing in America, catching some fame and fortune.
Lake Minnetonka special.
2 feet in front of the camera, that's when you get your best pictures.
Plus, how you can be a spy on Mother Nature using trail cameras you can make yourself. We'll show you how.
We're making wild king salmon.
And once again, we'll go wild in the kitchen with a tasty recipe for something out of the wild.
There's Hummy. Oh, up in the tree.
And our Minnesota Bound Classic this week is all about hummingbirds, an amazing bird with amazing survival skills, including long flights south for the winter. Those stories and more, next.
Minnesota Bound. Brought to you by Minnesota's select GMC dealers.
Hi everybody, Raven and I welcome you to the show. You know, if you're into fishing like I am, well, fishing contests have been around a long time. But in recent years, these contests, now called tournaments, have turned into big money. Well, Travis Frank has found a Minnesota bass fisherman who got some of that big money.
Cruising above a maze of milfoil, Andy Young goes to work.
You ready, man?
Yeah, let's get some fish.
Let's get this done. I think the school's over here. We'll see.
His office, a Ranger boat, decked out in fancy logos. His work, outsmarting big bass.
There's one. That's a decent little Minnetonka milfoil bass, huh? Not great, but not bad. Off we go. See you, buddy. Back down into your foil.
Andy tours the country, competing against the world's top anglers, where big bass equal big bucks.
I figured I might as well just throw down and
Give it a shot.
I ain't gonna. I mean, worst thing I can do is go broke, and I've been broke before, so not a big deal.
The competition drives him, creating a rush he can find nowhere else. Which is why Andy's now riding an all-time high.
Come on in.
This spring, he won the Bassmaster Open on Lake Amistad in Texas.
Andy Young has won the Bass Pro Shops Bassmaster Central Open.
The win qualified him for the Bassmaster Classic.
I'm going to the Classic! Yes!
The Super Bowl of all fishing tournaments.
Yeah, I think it's a dream of every bass fisherman, so I feel very, very fortunate.
At the Classic, the right bass can make you a millionaire. If he wins, he'll be Minnesota's first.
No one from Minnesota has ever won a Bassmaster Classics. It's as big as it gets. Yeah, there's 50 people and that get to fish the Classic, and luckily I'm one of them.
On Lake Minnetonka, he feels at home, studying the bass and sharpening his skills.
You know that somewhere there's a school of fish that's just going nuts right now. You just have to find them, you know?
Somebody's catching them. They're always biting somewhere.
Well, there's definitely a lot of hard work that it takes, and there's probably is some skill involved, but I believe in a little bit of luck too.
A work ethic he learned from his dad on the beaches of Hawaii.
He'd take me out and we'd wade out onto the reefs and fish with little bamboo fishing poles and catch all these reef fish. But ever since then, it's been a love of mine, and I've just been obsessed with fishing.
At the age of 10, Andy's dad passed away, but his love for fishing burned strong.
Never got to go bass fishing up here with me or anything like that, but
Yeah.
it'd been nice if he did.
I'm guessing he'd be pretty proud.
I think so, yeah, probably.
Knowing his father is watching brings him a smile.
Hey, you know, someone's looking out for me upstairs, I guess.
There we go. Double. Oh,
yeah, flip him. Yeah, get him in. Yeah. There's a nice little flurry, huh?
Andy, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're
Alright,
both in
look
the
at-
exact
look at-
single spot.
That's a double. We pulled them both at the same time.
Beautiful.
And the old RTX. Okay, nice. I like to go out there and work hard and try to find the fish myself. And if, like I say, if I died today, I'd like to be remembered as the guy that worked hard and did it his way.
A good reason why this February, the state of Minnesota will be cheering for Andy Young, where the right hook set could be worth $1 million.
Yeah?
Nice fish.
So we're just gonna have to go try and win that thing. I'd love to be a millionaire bass fisherman. Gotta love that. Lake Minnetonka special. We'll get bigger ones than that though. See ya.
Up next, using homemade trail cameras to find out who's coming and going in your outdoor world.
In the spring, the duck's plumage is really sharp and distinct.
Minnesota Bound, brought to you by Minnesota's select GMC dealers. Kinetico. And by Starkey Hearing Technologies.
A question, ever wonder what creatures are roaming around, say, in your backyard at night? Well, you can find out by making your own trail camera, and some of the pictures you find might be surprising. Our story is about a man who did just that. Once again, here's Travis Frank.
To photograph a pretty picture, look no further than Minnesota's Southwest Prairie. Grassy hillsides roll as far as the eye can see.
Go find a bird? Where?
Yet to outdoor photographer Chuck Gackstetter, his best photos come from the view of a different eye. It's the one on his trail camera, mounted a foot above the water.
I like when they swim like 2 feet in front of the camera. That's when you get your best pictures.
Motion activates the camera, creating photos made by the critters themselves.
I got ducks around the log, standing on the log.
Call it trail camera art.
Some days you get nothing, some days you hit the jackpot.
Chuck is a trail camera junkie with a bit of a twist. He's a hacker too. Buying used cameras online, he cuts them open and rebuilds them from scratch.
When I'm hacking, I'm opening up the camera and installing wires, a wiring system that comes out of the camera, and it's connected inside of the camera. The heat motion sensor uses both heat and motion to turn the camera on and tell it to take a picture.
The reason he hacks lies in the camera's flash.
Every time I put out a trail camera, day or night, I put it on forced flash, and you get a lot better, brighter colors, sharper colors, and a lot more quality pictures. It's a better quality camera.
It's quality that he's piled up for more than a decade.
Every year I make the calendar, and when I got to come up with 12 of my favorite, I have a hard time picking out really my favorites.
Each year his library grows by more than 50,000 pictures.
I normally have between 10 and 12 cameras year-round. In the spring, the duck's plumage is really sharp and distinct. And I try for fawn pictures in June. I want to get the velvet pictures right before they shed. Everything's working, and she's ready for next week to come check it again.
And of course, who could forget about life at the Fox Den too?
I gave him bait last night, and that's all gone. So I always want to go see what we got for pictures. Just like Christmas, every time we go to check them, because you never know what you're going to find.
each photo answering one simple question. What do animals do when nobody is around?
You just can't be there 24 hours a day and see everything that goes on. So tonight they'll come out and eat their little bit and get a few pictures taken, and hopefully I'll get some more cool shots. To me, I can hunt with this, keep my trail cameras year-round. Don't even have to have a license for it. And it's catch and release. I really enjoy it.
On Chuck's homemade trail cameras, the big ones never get away.
The last thing we're going to do is finish it with a little bit of sauteed spinach and corn together.
When we return, time to go wild in the kitchen. Good eating coming up.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Yard, premier manufacturers of maintenance-free outdoor patio furniture and accessories from recycled plastic.
Coming up, one of my favorite moments in the show, time to go wild in the kitchen. Let's see what's a-cooking out there, Laura.
Today we're getting really wild in the kitchen. We're here with Chef Paul from Fire Lake Grill House and Cocktail Bar, and we're making wild king salmon.
Nothing's more wild in the kitchen than fresh Alaskan wild salmon. We're going to pair it with the fresh summer flavor of fresh corn. So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a corn broth. All you're going to do is you're going to take the knife and you're going to run it right down the edge.
It's pretty easy.
Now, what we're going to do is there's still a lot of flavor left in this cob. So that's what we want to start off with. So we just take the corn cob with some celery, put it down in a pot with just enough water to cover, and then we're going to let it simmer for an hour, and that's where our corn broth begins. So I just put a little bit of butter and about half the corn kernels, and we're going to transfer that to a heavy bottom pot here, and then we're going to strain. I'm going to have you help. We're just going to reduce this by half. So while this is cooking, let's go get our salmon ready for the grill.
Okay.
To the bowl here, we're going to add a little bit of virgin olive oil. We're just going to add a little touch of Dijon, okay? And then we're going to add some dill to it, a little bit of black pepper, and a little bit of salt. Rub it fairly liberally on all sides of your salmon fillet. And as you can see, the liquid has reduced by about half.
Pour it right in the blender.
We're going to add just a little pinch of cayenne pepper, going to add a little pinch of black pepper, and a good helping of salt, a touch of cream, and away we go. Lay it on there, don't overcook it. You want to treat it like red meat, so this will probably take about 8 minutes. So let's go plate this salmon. The last thing we're going to do is finish it with a little bit of sauteed spinach and corn together.
Once again, it's wildly delicious with some of our summer favorites.
Well, he's hidden in there.
This week, our Minnesota Bound Classic explores the wonderful world of hummingbirds and the folks who keep them busy. Humming. That's next.
Minnesota Bound, brought to you by Jesse Trebil Foundation Systems and Safe Basements Waterproofing. Radco Truck Accessories. And by Seven Clans Casino.
Our Minnesota Bound Classic this week is all about hummingbirds. You know, the tiniest bird in North America. Well, they'll be leaving us soon, sadly. So let's take one last look at their beauty.
Can I use the binoculars?
Meet the lovebirds, David and Vicki Weiniger.
There's Hummy. Oh, up in the tree.
From their perch on a porch, the Weinigers check out their feathered neighbors.
It really has grown.
While the backyard welcome mat is always out for any bird, the star of this story weighs less than a penny and flies at speeds up to 60 miles per hour. The ruby-throated hummingbird.
Right behind some leaves.
Well, he's hidden in there.
Watching hummingbirds is nothing new for this Minnesota couple.
Just see him
For more than a dozen years, this tiniest of birds, whose heart beats more than 1,000 times a minute, has been the subject of an amazing movie plot filmed in their own backyard.
I had been taking Nutmeg, the dog, out to go potty in the front yard and noticed a hummingbird in the front, one of the trees, which I went over because I looked and I thought, it seems like there's something there on that branch. And I went over and I got so excited because that was one of my dreams come
Actually,
true.
she shrieked.
I shrieked. Dave was almost...
Shrieking Vicky had found a hummingbird nest, which is no easy task. The nest, camouflaged with lichens and spider webs, is almost invisible. Home to the hummingbird is no bigger than a 50-cent piece.
I call it our gift because it's something I had always longed to see, and it came right to us.
To capture the rare discovery, David and Vicky purchased a video camera and pushed record. Rolling from one summer to the next, their camera collected more than 65 hours of video featuring the life and times of ruby-throated hummingbirds.
The thing with hummingbirds, everything interesting happens quickly.
So quickly.
And literally in a half a second, you either see something cool or you miss it.
As it turned out, the camera's eye didn't miss much. Starting on a pine branch, the nest building begins. Spider webs are tucked in place for support. Lichens are added for, well, only the hummingbirds know.
I think that's one of the things that fascinates me because they're so tiny.
You could send 7 of them in a first-class letter to Grandma.
And to see the size of the nest, you know, about that big around, and then 2 little eggs in there look like little jelly beans.
The camera also captured the trials and tribulations of raising baby hummingbirds.
Watching them feed their young, I call it the sword swallowing act because it's amazing. This mother sticks that long pointed beak way down the throat of the baby.
How do you sleep in something this small? David and Vicky also discovered that despite their size, hummingbirds can be aggressive toward each other. According to Native American lore, the hummingbird was a bird of peace, but would defend itself with the heart of an eagle.
It took me 4 microphones, and I don't know why, until I could get it. I had 3 that were recording, and they would not pick up the wing beats. So I finally bought a 4th microphone, and I had to have it just above the head, and the bird would be feeding, and the microphone was right there.
Eventually, the hummingbird filmmakers decided to make their own hummingbird movie.
There's my 80 or so tapes that Vicky and I took when we were filming the bird.
Which required a video editing system complete with a computer.
It's my favorite part of the whole movie, up to the end.
Which started an editing project lasting 3.5 years.
I spent a week on this scene.
Finally, their hummingbird version of Gone with the Wind was complete.
The name originally was going to be More Than a Glimpse. And then one of our songs that we ended up using was Wind Dancer. And we figured, Wind Dancers, that's perfect.
And that's a wrap. Beautiful bird, but how do they migrate so far? Another mystery for us to ponder. Well, that about does it for us. Remember, introduce a kid to the great outdoors. I'm Ron Sharon. Of course, always the star of the show is Raven.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. call 1-800-899-7433. For more information on these stories and more, catch us on the web at mnbound.com.